Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the Digoo M1Q. This is a 920p Wi-Fi home security camera. In fact, it's one of the least expensive options you can find online, and it's sold as an exclusive on Banggood, and it sells for under 18 bucks. It comes in a few different color models as well. So the M1Q is also an extremely portable camera that's easy to disguise in furniture or on a wall, something like that. It's easily mountable. But otherwise it features a pretty average resolution for a low-cost home security solution, and you can of course download the app for iOS or Android, and that allows you to monitor what's going around in your house when you're not there. You can see other specifications including a 1/3 inch CMOS sensor. The lens is 2.8 millimeters. It uses a traditional micro USB port for power, and that's essentially it. Packaging here in terms of the box is very small, but on the inside there's access to a quick user manual that documents some of the functions. There's a QR code you can scan to download the app for your phone, and there's also some basic modes for starting the alarm, starting recording functionality by means of a micro SD card, and how to set it up, stuff like that. Otherwise, there is the micro USB cable for power. There's no integrated battery, so it needs to be plugged into the wall at all times. And of course, there is just the security camera itself. Below the foam padding, there's access to a piece of 3M tape, which you use to mount it onto the wall, but there are no other screws included. So in terms of popping it onto the wall, you can just use a standard screw that you may already have, pop it onto the wall or onto a ceiling, and then stick this part into the hole, and it should work. So peeling this part off, you can see this is a pretty glossy plastic build, but overall, again, it's a very small, compact camera. We have the lens on the front. There are a few kind of IR sensors. In addition, the side features what looks like a micro USB port for power, and the side here also has a micro SD card for recording videos and taking images locally stored onto the camera, which you control using the app. Finally, the back features a reset pin. There is a loudspeaker, which you can use to sound a siren or talk to someone in the room using the app, and you can also stick the 3M tape on the back here. So we're plugged into power, and you can see there's a blue status LED that will glow when the device is turned on. The top here is indeed an infrared sensor, so if it's in complete darkness, you can kind of hear it switch into that infrared mode. And what happens then is your image quality will transition into black and white. It doesn't have quite as many IR lights though as more expensive cameras, like a Ring of 8 or 12. It's only limited to this one here. So you need to be relatively close to the camera for it to capture the shot correctly. Otherwise, it doesn't drain that much power. It just uses 5 volts 1 amp, so you can just power it using a power bank or plug it into another USB socket on a computer, and it even works. So it's pretty simple to set up, and overall, again, the form factor is really the star here since it is so small. In fact, I think it's one of the smallest home security cams I've seen, which is, again, great if you want to pop into a discrete location you don't want anyone else to see. There's also a small LED light that will detect voices, so it can have voice commands. Like if it hears something in the room, it can push a notification to your app to tell you there's an alert, someone may have broken in, and vice versa. The app here is pretty simple. It's simply called Digoo I, and it's a free download in the Play Store. So if we start in the main screen here, I have my device list where I can add multiple of these security cams, and tapping on the plus key, what you tap is the Smart Link function. Tapping on Smart Link, what you want to do is then connect via Wi-Fi, and you would then have the password information for your network entered here. These cameras operate via 2.4G and not 5G wireless at the moment, so that's something to keep in mind. If your Wi-Fi router is super cluttered with tons of devices connected, then the speed of the camera might be a little slower, so there will be some sluggishness in terms of what happens in real life versus what's pushed onto the phone's display. Afterwards, you tap on next, and you'll hear a notification on the camera speaker say that it's ready to connect to Wi-Fi, and after a few more seconds, it will start to beep, once every 2 seconds or so. And once you hear that beeping, you tap on next, and then it sends your Wi-Fi info to the camera, and then you'll be connected automatically. So it's pretty fast, takes just about 3 minutes in total to complete. And after you're connected, it's going to ask you to set a password for the camera. So in case someone steals your phone or downloads the app, they still have to sign in with the device's name that you can can set, which I've set to OS reviews at the moment, in addition to the device's password. And there is a default password printed on the bottom of the instruction manual here the first time that you set it up, so that you have to log in to see what's being displayed on the camera. So there's some safety precautions built in. The app itself is relatively simple and straightforward, just not too much stuff that's going on. You just have a thumbnail that you can customize of your last seen image, the name of the camera, whether it's online or offline, status information, changing the password and the naming through the settings, changing notifications like I get an alert when motion has been detected, when voice has been detected, stuff like that. And down below bottom here, I also have my messages or notifications that are recorded here and pushed over. Media content, so images and video recordings that I can see on the SD card, which are pushed over to the phone. And of course, my profile, so I can take a look at some basic info about me, as well as the system and firmware version that I'm running on. So everything works pretty well. Alright, so switching over to a live view, you can see some feed information like the timestamp on the very top and the number of viewers. So right now there's only one. I'm the only person, looking at this image. Tapping on the camera here once kind of updates what's being displayed, and you can see that there is some sluggishness that is completely dependent on, your network speed. It's using 2.4G, and our network is a little bit cluttered with lots of Wi-Fi, Internet of Things products, since I'm constantly testing them out. But as a whole, it works without too many issues as far as latency. And you can see that the overall image quality is also surprisingly crisp looking for a not a full HD camera. So no problems at all as far as making out legible text, faces, colors, things like that. If I toggle into the full screen mode, you can see again number of viewers on the top, and down below here I can access the same controls, including the microphone and image settings, such as starting to take an image, or vice versa, starting to record video that will be saved directly on the camera's internal memory. And down below here I can talk into this microphone, and of course the sound will come out through the speaker on the back, and it works relatively well. The speaker is a little bit muffled and it's not the most clean sounding thing in the world, but if you do need to give a quick alert to maybe a kid who is in the house or to a pet, something like that, it does still work. I can take a snapshot very quickly, and that's saved into my phone's memory, and vice versa. I can set an alarm to turn the alarm mode on or off, so when it's on, it will detect motion and sound, stuff like that, and push notifications over to my phone. The next panel gives me a bit of panning options, left, right, up, and down, but it's not nearly as advanced as a real pan and tilt camera, since you're so limited by this field of view. Since there's no motor down below here, it doesn't actually spin or anything. But the field of view here is roughly 120 degrees. It's relatively wide angle and captures a good amount of the room within one shot of the frame, so no real complaints there either. And again, since it does have IR technology, it works both in daytime and nighttime. So all in all, I have to say that this is a pretty decent, low-cost Wi-Fi security camera, especially one that's under 18 bucks. There's a variant that comes in a gray color that for some reason retails for even less, about $2 less. So it is one of the least expensive cams that you can pick up. It's small, it's discreet, and it's relatively simple to set up. A few of the cons would include the fact that it does not come with a full-size charger, and the fact that it doesn't come with mounting screws or brackets. So you do have to kind of prepare those things yourself. The application has also been roughly translated from Chinese, so there are a few phrases, words, and things that you kind of have to guess. The documentation isn't super thick or detailed. However, for the most part, it's pretty easy to get used to once you start playing with it, and again, the video quality and the image quality isn't bad at all. Sure, it's not a 1080p or a 2K security cam, but it more than suffices for the general user, and again, at this cost, it really is a great option to pick up, maybe as a first-time cam that you want to try out before investing in a more expensive option. So you can check out more details in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Digoo M2 Wi-Fi security camera.